Protecting Nigerian athletes, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Toga receives NFF President, vows to ensure safety in host country.
Unfortunate, but it means also that we have to work closely together.
Vice President Shetima tasks Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority Board on diversification and economic
Plans are in the pipeline by the federal government to establish a youth entrepreneurship investment bank.
Senate passes for second reading bill to establish National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation.
If actually we want to end drug trafficking in Nigeria, we should make drug trafficking a capital offense.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we focus on Renewed Hope Initiative 1 year after.
The Renewed Hope Initiative project of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, was launched on November 16, 2023. Claire, were you
yes,
there?
Absolutely, Demola. Yes, and the initiative was actually unveiled in line with Mr. President's agenda. Now, the renewed Hope agenda.
RHI, as fondly called, aims to empower women, families, and vulnerable communities through education, healthcare, economic empowerment, and social support, fostering a culture of hope, resilience, and self-reliance. And
the core objectives of the initiative is to improve access to quality healthcare for women and children, enhance economic empowerment, of course, through skills acquisition and entrepreneurship, as well as promote education and vocational training.
The initiative also supports vulnerable populations, including internally displaced persons and people with disabilities, while fostering community development through infrastructure and social services.
And some of the programs of the initiative are anchored on 5 key areas, including Women Agricultural Support Program, RHI WASH, and that supports women farmers with training, resources, and financial assistance. There's also Health Intervention Program, which provides medical outreach for maternal and child health care services.
Other programs of Renewed Hope Initiative include Education and Vocational Training Program, which offers scholarships, skills, training, and mentorship.
All right, so the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, also has an economic empowerment segment to it, and that provides financial inclusion, entrepreneurship support, and microfinance services. But while its social support program supports internally displaced persons, people with disabilities, and vulnerable families.
The Renew Hope Initiative operates across Nigeria's 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, with a focus on undeserved communities.
Indeed, and the initiative also aims at making lasting impact on the lives of Nigerians, particularly women and children, families, as well as those in vulnerable situations. And it aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs.
As RHI marks this significant milestone, we will be taking a closer look at the initiative's achievements, challenges, and future plans. Join us as we explore the stories of hope, resilience, and transformation that have emerged from this remarkable project. I am Ademola Adeoye. Welcome to the program.
And I'm Claire Adilabu Abdul Razak. And Demola, I can assure you that there's one aspect of the RHI initiatives that I'm particularly, excited about is the Every Home a Garden. You know, I've been working with some of those women.
Do you have a garden in your house right now?
Really, I don't.
You're working towards it.
Yes, but we'll talk about that later. But the fact is that I do not have. I do not have, but I've been working with those women, and it's exciting to see, you know, how they have embraced this initiative and what it is actually doing for them. You'll be amazed when you see some of the videos that we have, you know, when we bring it, when we show it.
Oh, you're going to show some of these videos?
Yes, not on this program, not on this program. It's a report that one of our colleagues is working on, and it's really exciting. It's really exciting. All right. So I am Claire Adila Abdulrazak. Welcome to the program once again, and we'll be looking at the newspaper review with Chukwudi Okulubaja much later. But for now, we have our delightful Mina Daniels bringing us highlights of the morning news. Hi, Mina.
Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Demola. I'm just enjoying the color combo, both of you. I see.
Very proud.
Welcome to the news. Pending the outcome of investigations by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, into Super Eagles' ill treatment in Libya, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga says henceforth the ministry will ensure a briefing on current situation of any host country before traveling. Yusuf Tuga was speaking when he received the NFF President Ibrahim Musa Gusau in his office at the ministry.
Try to make an effort to see how we can get out and see how we can move ourselves to even have something to eat, but that was not accepted by the authorities that were made to stay and put us under that hostage.
It's unfortunate, but it means also that we have to work closely together with the NFF.
The House of Representatives has asked the federal government to invite the Libyan ambassador to Nigeria as he seeks explanation over the humiliating treatment meted out to Nigerian senior football team, the Super Eagles, by the Libyan Football Federation. This followed the motion of urgent public importance moved on the floor of the House.
Apply to a small airport with little or no amenities. The Libyan authority does not allow the team to get out of the airport or move to their hotel. No access to internet, no food. The airport was cordoned and they were held hostage for 18 hours.
This for me is an embarrassment, not only for the team, Nigerians and also Africans.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has charged the newly appointed Board of Directors of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority to diversify the nation's investment portfolio in order to support key sectors of the economy. He gave the charge during a meeting with the Board of Directors of the NSIA, outlining the administration's vision for the authority, drawing comparison with more established sovereign wealth funds.
Plans are in the pipeline by the federal government to establish a youth entrepreneurship investment bank, all geared towards assisting our youth to be gainfully employed.
And Senate wants the fight against drug abuse to be taken a notch higher as it seeks the establishment of a National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation. The proposed legislation passed second reading after the intense debate.
The institute is informed by the high record of substance abuse in Nigeria.
If actually we want to end drug trafficking in Nigeria, we should make drug trafficking a capital offense.
We have a practice here to always allow bills to go further, to allow for proper scrutiny.
And in the face of potential reputation damaging scenarios, having a crisis communication plan in place that outlines the steps to mitigating damage and communicating transparently will go a long way in ensuring a better society. This is what the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations is championing with the coming on board of the Nigerian Reputation Management Group.
The image of Nigeria needs conscious, deliberate attention. Today's event is NIBR's robust response to the call. We have the biggest body of knowledge in Africa. NIBR is well positioned and ready to deal on this matter.
The initiative to inculcate the spirit of building a reputation for Nigerians and Nigeria by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations is in line with the vision of the current administration based on the revelation by the Minister of Information and National Orientation. Minister Mohammed Idris says reputation is an asset for Nigeria.
The Ministry of Information and National Orientation Agency, especially the National Orientation Agency, is playing a pivotal role in ensuring that Nigeria reclaims its steps. Nigeria comes back to those ideals for which our founding fathers put on course for this country.
And those are the highlights of the news at this time. Good Morning Nigeria will continue with Ademola and Claire, but after this commercial break. Please don't go.
My administration took over leadership of our country 16 months ago at a critical juncture. The economy faced many headwinds and our physical security highly impaired. We found ourselves at a distant crossroad where we must choose between two paths: reform for progress and prosperity, or carry on the business as usual and collapse. We decided to reform our political economy and defense architecture.
Can you flex your vocals for us? It could be one of your songs, by the way.
People fall in love in mysterious ways.
Why did they call you Able Child?
They called me that when I was in school. That was my nickname then in school.
Any reason in particular why they called you Able Child?
Yeah, because I was actually one of the brilliant students.
Oh, say, mommy! That answer right there. You must be, if it's not on this board, problem. That means the people that answer this survey, they have body odor. Hey.
Nigeria means a lot to me.
And Nigeria means peaceful cohesion.
My country.
Yeah, we continue to pray, and then hopefully we will come to understand that unity of purpose, unity of living together.
Our ethnic beliefs and background and culture is our strength.
Ever since the amalgamation period of 1914 to date, about 109 years ago, the people of Nigeria live very peacefully with one another.
I think diversity helps a lot to enhance robust development in Nigeria.
All over the country, you have so many ethnic groups, over 250. That is enough to tell you that this is a blessed country, and that God has kept, together as one indivisible entity.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in color, we turn dark into light, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Education is unique, we have more than the solution.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry life. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
This Sunday, live on Sporty TV.
Villarreal versus Getafe. Watch live on Sporty TV.
Brought to you by SportyBet. Play with champions.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Up next on the program is Newspaper Review.
All right, time to welcome Chooks the boy.
I hope I look completely boyish, because that's intentional when I left home this morning.
First of all, let me begin from you.
I have my Christmas wear. I started putting it on ahead of Christmas. That shows you how excited I am. Hello, you're reading for Jam, eh? How many times will you write it?
Well, I actually sat for Jam like three times.
Are you serious? You don't want to hear my story, please. So that newspaper review does not suffer.
You know, in those days, you remember in those days now, we didn't have many universities that we have right now.
Quite a few of them.
Just federal universities and maybe 1 or 2 state universities. So it was tough getting into the higher institutions.
Well, but you know, the funny aspect of it was that I never made it. The year I made it, 3 universities invited me.
Wow.
Imagine.
How did that happen? When you score 250, you'll be praying to even get admission.
That's
250.
You see these old people.
How times have changed.
You see these old men.
Just to get 250, you'll still be praying to get admission into university. Unlike now. Please start.
Thank you. All right, let's get on with the review. New Telegraph has a lot going for it this morning, and the lead story says party crisis, PDP governors, NWC, BOT, NAS caucus broker peace, nullify suspensions, reaffirm Damagun as acting national chair as NEC meeting seems uncertain, will resist one-party state governors. Details of these you can find on pages 4 and 28. And there are quite a number trading just below the nameplate also. Frequent grid collapse, testament of leadership failure, that will be there. September inflation hit 32.7% on fuel price hike after 2 months decline. That's on page 4. On board meals, federal government directs foreign airlines to patronize local caterers. That's page 6, according to the Minister of Aviation. His picture is right there. Above the nameplate, Cardoso, recapitalization to create robust banks by 2026. Reps hail Forex unification. Survey projects improved economy in 6 months. That's from the Apex Bank. And just below the nameplate, Super Eagles, Senate asks Libya to apologize to Nigeria as Akpabio reps call for probe. Pilot, how we averted potential plane crash. It was like being held hostage. We feared for our lives. Simon. Libya, Nigeria risks points for feature, fine and suspension. And quite a number of other stories trending on the front page of the leadership. So let's just leave it here and allow Demola to take. You have two newspapers?
Yes, I have one. Let me start with the People's Daily newspaper. UK disowns Yoruba Nation petition, says report misleading. Then we have World Bank approves $500 million COVID-19 grant for Nigeria. Then the major headline reads, reps to federal government complete Dasin Hausa Dam to absorb excess water from Lagdo Dam. Urges Tinubu to summon Libyan ambassador over poor treatment of Super Eagles. The details of that story can be found on page 4. Nigeria to integrate hand hygiene practices into national development plans. Then we have the CBN unveils plans to tackle soaring inflation. Then I don't want to speak on NNPC crisis, Kwakwan, so details can be found on page 17. Now moving on to Daily Trust newspaper. Just below the nameplate, we have NNPC Group seeks Governor Yusuf's independence from Kwakwanso, and there are passengers stranded as airlines cut domestic flight. Details of that story can be found on page 14. PDP crisis. Damangos may step down next week. Aggrieved members told to withdraw court cases. Governors ask factional leader to vacate office, lift suspensions. Details on page 4. Then we have Naira plunges to 1,700 at parallel market. The coroner kills 45 in Kano. Details on page 14. Petrol prices hikes push inflation to 32.7%. Details on page 24. Power grid collapses twice in 24 hours as restoration efforts fail. Details of the story can be found on page 24. Chooks.
You feel like starting a column, however mischievous it sounds from the journalistic point of view. Will he, won't he? That's talking about Ilya Damagu, and you could do a rider, Ilya Damagu and the PDP jigsaw. Now, I don't understand why it is still a trauma to change helmsmen for Nigeria's major political parties. The APC has not been having, a very smooth ride. You find they are having peace at the moment. But who says it can't happen to them? So I'm looking at political party evolution in this country. Is it following the right track? Why is everything always stymied at a time when smoothness would ensure that, party politics thrives and ultimately democracy benefits? I don't understand it. Well, we wish them luck, but they had better put their act together early enough. 2027 is not so far away. The governors are there beating their chests. We will not allow one-party state, whatever they meant by that. You have to work to make sure that you will stand to be counted on D-Day. So we wish PDP luck as they try to, solve their own internal problems.
Politicians, you just cannot understand them at all.
Tony Wilson called them, called the politician a man of many worlds,
So you're not a politician, so you wouldn't understand.
I don't even know how to begin to think about becoming one. That's the problem.
So just leave them. It's their game.
They understand one another.
They understand themselves.
It's a clan.
So don't go and kill yourself.
I think we must qualify the type of politician we are talking about.
Okay.
Because I think it was either Socrates or Aristotle that said humans are all political animals. So you are a political animal. We are all political animals because we live in a polity. So in that sense, we are all politicians.
No, actually,
well, that is that context.
Yes, that is why I said you have to put your into context. Yes.
Even in the home, you find out that the father may not equally like all his children.
Okay.
And some politics has to be introduced in terms of running the home, so they don't tell him, we accuse you of favoritism. You obnoxious dad.
Anyway.
Can you use obnoxious before that?
The story, Chukwude, I know this has been trending, it's been on, and I know you also may have, reviewed this. That's the issue between Nigeria and Libya, second leg match that was supposed to have taken place yesterday, which did not. I hear that CAF delisted it, as one of those games to be played yesterday.
Yes.
And now the New Telegraph, of course, is reporting the story that's been trending, since yesterday. The Nigerian Senate asking Libya to apologize to Nigeria. And I just shared with Demola a trending video that, the Libyan football authorities also released, alleging the maltreatment they alleged to have received while they were here.
So was it a tit for tat issue?
Actually, I think it's just a planned, work from the Libyan. They planned it. They knew that they were not going to win the game with Nigeria here, so they wanted to do everything to frustrate and also the Nigerian players in Libya, so that they will, because this is not the first time actually. During the club stages, they've been doing that to all our clubs. When they go there, they will maltreat them, they will frustrate them. At the end of the day, when they play the match, they will beat us like 5-0.
Sure.
And it's because the guys are demoralized. So the plan is to demoralize these players. So by the time they get to the field, they are confused, they are weak, they are tired.
Get them
they won't be able.
that is and without a drop of energy.
So that is the
so that on the field of play, nobody
just,
would know they existed at all.
So that's just the thing.
But you see,
so it's a game plan.
Is he who Jah bless? In those days where we mimicked reggae, you didn't see me in my Labu trousers.
I think that the Minister of Foreign Affairs is, obviously handling it from a diplomatic point of view, which I think it's okay because of the bilateral relations.
Yes.
Yes. Otherwise, it's if going by what the pilot said here, how we averted potential plane crash. You can imagine what could have happened if that plane had crashed. God forbid, as we would say, and that for the captain to come out to say, look, this is like we're being held hostage. I haven't seen that kind of thing before. Although
because their grounds is that when they came here, that we did not provide for them the adequate logistics. But the NFF have countered that claim, and look, they approached them. They even offered to lift them from from Port Harcourt now to where did they play now, and they refused. They chartered their own vehicle. NFF provided vehicles for them. They said they refused to use the vehicle. They decided to go on their own, and they had to provide for them security, so that they will be safe on the road all through. So there was nowhere of they were being neglected or treated shabbily or whatever.
Let them be humble enough to apologize. You don't get into deeper waters trying to justify a malfeasance.
Well,
you don't do that. Yeah. It doesn't help your reputation.
Yes. Just before we go, Nigerians,
credibility.
Like someone also observed, Nigerians are not known to treat their guests unfairly. We are not known. Look, we don't have that characteristic.
Don't make it unique to us. At a point, Africa was actually its own brother's keeper. We were known for that. When we started losing it, only God knows. But it's not a direction we want to be headed.
Just one last thing. Professor Ishaq Oloyede turned 70 a few days ago, and of course that means of service.
That's the jam man.
The jam man.
The man who showed us that you could make money from declare money from operations.
Yes, and
great human being.
And a tribute someone wrote in his honor. A New Telegraph is quite emotional, and of course chronicling his achievements in trying to transform JAM. I only hope that there will be continuity.
Claire, what it tells us is that it is still good to be good on this show.
We have good men. We have good leaders.
The likes of Demola who want to affect the environment positively should not give up. Quickly, Darsim Hausa Dam to absorb excess water from Lake Lagdo Dam.
They said you have 1 minute.
Yeah, that is a very important one.
Yes.
I pray that we push it to a logical conclusion and it does work.
So we now bring you to a logical conclusion this morning as well.
You're always inching towards that.
All right, we'll take a break now. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.
As your president, I assure you that we are committed to finding sustainable solutions to alleviate the suffering of our citizens. Once again, and we are beginning to see the light at the end of
A new edition of TV Guide is out.
This time, we got up close and personal with the transformational legislator, the Deputy President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Barrow Jibrin.
We've created a difference in terms of representation through interventions that have brought an unprecedented infrastructural development to my area.
This edition is a compendium of family and lots more.
And features within our space.
TV Guide, very incisive, very educative and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
I think Amaka should just move out of the house. Yes.
No. Standing out of the house is not the right thing to do.
Oh, there you go again with your sentimental family stuff.
Baby, if our aim is to stop this affair, it is best achieved under our roof.
You do something terrible and you'll be acting innocent.
What are you going on about?
Don't ask me that question again.
My son, I don't know how serious you are with my daughter, but there's something that needs to be done urgently before you move any further.
Anything, just anything, just say it. I'm ready to do anything.
There is a spell that needs to be removed.
A spell?
Family forever, the story of our lives.
The federal government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
You have to move from the point where you protect and defend your religion to a point where you also recognize the rights of the other person, of the other religion, and protect it, and protect their rights. I should also be thinking...
All right, welcome back, and you're watching Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the NTA. Today, we will focus our attention on the First Lady's project. That's the Renewed Hope Initiative, and I can tell you it's anchored on 5 key areas that affect everyone from the family to women, children, and the youths. And of course, all right, let me just keep my mouth shut. When we get there, we'll cross the bridge. Let's listen to our background report first, put together by our correspondent, Adeni Taiwo.
The uprising of the vulnerable community in Nigeria has a new ring to it: hope. The ember of this hope started from a simple nudge of empathy, then a vision which birthed the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, the pet project of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu.
We are planning to target a lot of areas, which includes agriculture, includes education, includes economic empowerment, health, and also the social investment, which entails, vulnerable groups.
Even before the ink was dry on its registration papers at the Corporate Affairs Commission, the pet project set sail on its maiden voyage of interventions, attracted by Save Our Soul cry from flood victims at Trademore Estate, Abuja. Other social investment activities of RHI include special interventions at Nanaberry Orphanage, New Cairo, donation of 1 million naira each to 500 families who are victims of violent crisis in 6 local government areas of Plateau State, RHI Elder Support Scheme, donation of 250,000 naira each to 1,709 wives and children of fallen soldiers, as well as 100,000 naira grant each to people with disabilities across the states. Demonstrating its commitment to improved health for women and others, RHI made significant contributions, especially in the fight against cervical cancer. The initiative made a loud statement in the fight against TB in Nigeria by committing a whopping sum of 1 billion naira to the campaign.
Ending tuberculosis by 2030 is not impossible. With the active support and commitment of everyone seated here today, we can achieve this goal.
Inspired by the zeal of its national chairman for inclusive education, RHI made a lot of giant strides in the sector with the reintroduction of alternative high school for girls as the flagship. From the initial 43 beneficiaries of its national scholarship program for tertiary institutions, the rank of RHI scholars has grown even beyond the shores of Nigeria. In the last 1 year, RHI has been well positioned as a special purpose vehicle, delivering economic empowerment to women, particularly in two key areas, agriculture and ICT skills development. From Imo State in the southeast, Ogun in the southwest, to the other 4 geopolitical zones, women farmers are springing up, drawing life from the incentives offered by RHI and NALDA to support the cause of food security in the country.
The aim of the Young Farmers Club Nigeria is to catch them young by making farming more appealing to our pupils and students. We are not just teaching them how to farm, we are also nurturing a generation that will transform our agricultural landscape.
The same growth mindset is pervading the digital space, where the initiative has not only empowered women with ICT training, but also set up ICT community centers across the country. In the last 365 days, RHI has stayed the course in its avowed mandate of working towards better life for families, churning out different schemes and programs while leveraging partnership within and outside the country.
Thank you, Adeni Taiwo, for that background report. And we already have our guests seated in the studio to discuss the 1-year anniversary of the Renew Hope agenda. Let me first introduce the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media Office of the First Lady, Busola Kukoyi. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Also, we have Honorable Wahab Alawiye Kings, also Senior Special Assistant to the President on Policy and Strategy Office of the First Lady. Honorable, you're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. We also have with us Mariam Obadino, and she's the SSA to the President on Legal Matters Office of the First Lady. She also joins us live right here in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
All right. Okay. Let me start with the honorable. And we know that it's 1 year that the initiative, kicked off, and it has affected, it has impacted, especially the youths and the women across the country. So, what would you say inspired this New Hope initiative, and how does it align, with the federal government's agenda?
Thank you very much. As we all know that the Office of First Lady is a complementary and supportive office. And as such, the occupier of the office must have something to bring on board. That has inspired the First Lady to come up with this program. Renew Hope Initiative is designed as a social safety net policy, to assist and support the federal government in the Renew Hope agenda. And that is exactly what the First Lady has done. We have 5 thematic areas, spanning from education, agriculture, health, social investment, and economic empowerment. For the purpose of this discussion, let me concentrate on education and economic empowerment. My colleague will dwell on other area of the initiative. we hit the ground running. Immediately we registered the initiative. That was in August last year, 9th of August to be precise. And the first thing we did, we realized that education is very important. It is a critical tool to be used to change the world. Also, we realized that one important aspect, a component of any society is the family. That is why we made our goal, towards improving the lives of families. And that is what we have done. With education, we have 4 focal areas. It has to do with scholarship and bursary award, girl child education. It has to do with adult literacy and out of school and not in school children. And that is where the alternative high school comes in. Let me start with the scholarship. We started with the National Scholarship Program. We provided about 37, scholarship to indigent students across Nigeria. We also included stakeholders like the organization of the military and the police, and also National Council for Women's Society, making a total of 43 students across Nigeria benefiting from this scholarship. 1 million for a period of 4 years, 1 million annually for a period of 4 years, with a brand new laptop just to support what they are doing. In addition, some students of Dostina, Federal University Dostina, Castina were released and they were brought to the First Lady. And then the First Lady promised them to include them as part of that scholarship. As we speak, 47 students are benefiting from this scholarship. Okay. You understand? The second tranche of that scholarship has just been released. The grant has just been released to them. Aside from that, we believe in collaboration and partnership. That is why we collaborated with the government of Belarus to also benefit from this international scholarship. We have provided 20 scholarships in the area of medicine, agriculture, and ICT to indigent students, in Nigeria, 20 of them. They have gone through the education requirement. They are in the process of going to Belarus to continue their education. That has to do with scholarship. Also, in the area of scholarship, we collaborated with Ahuda Nepad in partnership with the African School of Economics, which is an affiliation of Princeton University in the United States of America. Okay. And over 200 students also benefited from this scholarship. These are some of the areas we have done with scholarship. In the area of bursary award, the Federal Ministry of Education also provided us with 5,000, education-related courses, bursary award, to students in Nigerian university and colleges of education. Also, in collaboration with TED Fund, we have also identified 6 areas, 6 institutions in Nigeria to benefit from what is called as ICT Experience Center. And the idea behind that is to have a structured technological education and opportunity for our students to also, be ready for this technological revolution. So with that, we have provided, 6 institutions in Nigeria that will benefit from this ICT experience. Also, in collaboration with TED Fund, we have also, we believe that conducive environment for learning and teaching is very important for us to survive as a nation. So that is why we also collaborated with TED Fund to provide infrastructural renewal in some of our institutions. And also in the area of education, we have also collaborated with UBEC to ensure the alternative high school program. That has to do with the out of school and not in school children, particularly women who are not in school or who drop out of school because of socio-economic and cultural, hindrances. What we have done is to create what was done about 17 years ago when the First Lady was the First Lady of Lagos back then.
When it was
she created, the alternative high school in Lagos somewhere in Agboju area of Amuwo in local government. The school is still standing up till today.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we have seen, those who benefited from that program who has gone back to be teachers at that school. These are some of the things we have done with education to ensure that education has a critical role, as a critical tool in promoting and enhancing national development. We must continue to do that. That is the area of scholarship and education.
I think maybe we should allow you to take a breather,
okay,
before you roll out all that we have, so that we can also get some other perspectives about the birth of this initiative. And Demola asked what inspired the first lady, and I also like to hear your own perspective. What do you think was the inspiration, the motivation for this?
Thank you very much. I think the First Lady, as we know her, is she's a former legislator. She understands the need, a former First Lady of a state, a former legislator. She understands the needs and yearnings of the people. She's been someone that has always been in connection with the people. She's a philanthropist, and she's an educator. She's a mother, and now she's the mother of the nation. Definitely, we expect her to bring a lot on board. And that's why this is no surprise to many who know her, for her to come up. And she likes to work within structures. She came on board, she sat with her team, and the Governing Council created the Renewed Hope Initiative to roll out programs that would benefit Nigerians. The goal of the Renewed Hope Initiative is to contribute to the economic development of Nigeria. And we know women are critical drivers of the economy. If you look at productivity, stability, and growth, you cannot push away women. And that's why what she has sought to do with the Renewed Hope Initiative. And for example, I'll take agriculture. When the president came on board, he declared a state of emergency on agriculture and food security. At the Renewed Hope Initiative, we decided to complement this effort. The First Lady, we have a pillar that is agriculture. And okay, what better way to get to the grassroots, to connect to the grassroots, to get many women on board? She started the Every Home a Garden competition. And what did this competition seek to do? It sought to encourage first-time women farmers. You know how farming is. We think, oh, you need an expanse of land to grow something. But she came up with a brilliant idea to say, this is how it can be done differently. How can we look at unconventional methods to drive home food security? And she started this competition, encouraging women to participate and show us an example of how they can grow their crops just at the back of their garden in a small space, sack gardening, bucket gardening. And we've seen a lot of videos online, how this has inspired many, many more women to grow food and share with their neighbors, share with their friends and their families. The competition was launched earlier in the year to give room for the crop season, for the rainy season. The competition has closed now. Entries have been sent to the office of the various state first ladies of their respective states, who also double as RHI state coordinators. And one brilliant thing about RHI is that it doesn't just sit in Abuja. RHI gets to the grassroots. It connects all the states of the Federation and the FCT to ensure that everything that is being done gets to the people, and the people get to appreciate the efforts of the government and see how they as well can be drivers of the economy. So the competition closed in September. We received a lot of entries and they're currently being reviewed. So it will be exciting to see the winner in December smiling home with 20 million naira.
Honestly.
Yes, yes, it will be very, very exciting.
And
so
you took it out from my mouth because I was going to keep that Every Home a Garden, especially because it's something that I'm witnessing, So
are you also taking part in it?
No, unfortunately, I am not. But I'm seeing the impact, and we will talk deeper about that because
okay.
Yes, right. I know you want to bring in
let's bring in Busola Kukoye. Busola, it's good to see you after a very long time.
Thank you,
well. Let's hear your own view about this Renew Hope initiative of the First Lady. What inspired it, and how does it align with the federal government's agenda? Let's have your view.
The Renewed Hope initiative, as birthed by the First Lady, is something that is complementary of what the federal government is doing, as has been stated earlier, with the 5 focal areas. It tends to key into government's policies and visions. And that's what she has been doing ever since its inception in August. So I want to look at the area of health, for instance. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation, knowing that our population made up of predominantly youth needs to be healthy. So one of the first things she did was to join her voice with that of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare in ensuring that the human papillomavirus vaccination, the HPV vaccination, is also added to the national routine vaccination.
Okay.
Now, she lent her voice to it and also ensure that should I say, fear by the ordinary man that this vaccination could be harmful was actually dispelled. We had at that launch of the vaccination into the national routine immunization policy, where the Honorable Minister for Health and Social Welfare came out, that even his daughters have taken the vaccination, so breaking the myth. Now, that will go a long way in keeping our female young ones quite healthy and away from the cervical cancer scourge. Now, she also is the global and national Stop TB champion, an honor that was done her by Stop TB Geneva not too long ago. Now, what does that entail? She has taken the campaign for the end of TB, even before 2030, as designated by Stop TB Geneva, to the nooks and cranny of Nigeria. She also saw that state first ladies, just like Mrs. Obadino said, are brought in. You know, RHI does not sit in Abuja. It goes to the grassroots. It goes to the remotest part of the country. So the state first ladies are involved in this. They are their state champions, driving the course of stopping TB in their various states. Their local governments are also involved. So it is not just about Abuja. Now, when she became the global and national Stop TB champion, she committed through the Renewed Hope Initiative 1 billion naira to the cause. What's that 1 billion naira for? To procure equipment, to procure medications, and get the facilities that will test and ensure the treatment of these TB scourge. Nigeria, by the way, has the highest burden of the disease. Quite unfortunate, and that's why she's very passionate about it. So going away from there, we also, in the area of health, know that Nigeria is one of the countries that has the highest burden of mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS. And on the platform of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, OFLAD, they started this campaign, #FreeToShine. And very shortly, she will be launching that campaign, which will try to stem the tide of mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS, one thing that she's very passionate about. So all of this are some of the things that she's doing in the health sector. Now, if we go to social investment, which is for the ordinary man, outside of health, education, agriculture, she reaches out to the communities, the vulnerable, the less privileged. Case in study, Nana Berry Orphanage. That orphanage is one that in your opening report, we saw some of the children singing. Those children have a new lease of life now. And through the RHI, they are getting a new facility partnering with the office of the SDG. They are getting a new orphanage, a conducive one, that they will live like every other child. They are, of course, periodically she reaches out to them, and this has given them a sense of belonging in the society. Now, we also have this initiative through the RHI, which is the Food Truck Initiative, where various food items are taken to various states. Truckloads of food items are taken to various states. About 6 states have already benefited from this. We have more states in the offing. Now, it's a company, one of the companies in the country that said, I'm keen into what Renewed Hope Initiative is doing, and they have done that for us. Now, we also have another company coming up to support that. So we now have not just 1 food truck, but 2 food trucks. And very soon, Kwara will get its own. We had Ekiti, Benue, FCT, Kano, Cross River, Nasarawa. They've already received theirs. Very shortly, Kwara will be getting its own. So it's like just have a
yes,
good life.
No doubt, the initiative is doing a lot. It's doing a lot, you know, to impact lives positively. But I know that there's no way that you can reach out to everyone, especially the vulnerable. But the fear or what people are saying actually is that we don't really see these things. We just hear them on television. Probably we read in the newspapers and all that. But the people on the street, how do you really get to them? Do you get in touch with the influencers? When I talk about influencers, I'm talking about the traditional rulers. I'm talking about probably the religious leaders. I'm talking about, you know, all these, you know, key leaders that can actually reach out to these vulnerable people. Do you collaborate with them? Do you carry them along in these programs to ensure that all these social, you know, initiatives and all that really gets to the people that are intended for?
Indeed, the Renewed Hope Initiative, just like my colleague said, does not just sit pretty in Abuja. We move to the nooks and crannies. We have traditional rulers that are friends of RHI, and together all these things are being cascaded to their people. Let me give you an instance. When we went to Jos to have the relief materials donated to the victims of the communal clash there, one of the things that the First Lady, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, kept on harping was, I want to see those people. Don't just bring officials to receive on it. And when we got there, we saw the people that really needed it. Family heads, children, wives, you know, they were there. The traditional rulers, the religious leaders are also friends of RHI. There is no event or no program that the RHI does that these men and women are not carried along. Of course, the National Council of Women's Societies is a grassroots-oriented society. Is also with us on this. By the way, she is the national patron of that society. So all of this gets to the people. She ensures it. She wants to see them. It's not on the pages of papers that she does this. She's a woman that is grassroots oriented. Don't forget, she is a politician, a 3-time senator, so she knows how it is.
Obviously,
yes.
just hold on. Yes, just hold on, because I'm coming straight, you know, to you. Like she said, the First Lady, according to her, does not just want to hear. You know, she wants to see, and not just officials. She wants to ensure that the target population, you know, is met. And, you know, from all that we've said about the initiatives and, you know, those, the aim and all that, those in vulnerable conditions are of priority. Women and children, girls, are of priority. And the education sector, which you talked about earlier on, is bedeviled with a lot of needs, from funding, which impacts on infrastructure, to the teachers' morale and welfare, to, you know, school enrollment that's at the primary, you know, level of it, even going to the, you know, secondary level. Then you talk about the policy somersaults. And I'm wondering, all the sponsorship, those going to Belarus, those, you know, getting the monies, who are they? How were they chosen? From where were they chosen? What schools What are your benchmarks? Because we're celebrating today, have we met those benchmarks?
Okay, thank you very much. At Harishai, we have a very unique structure in terms of organogram, and it is specially designed to address what you just mentioned. We want our program to be sound in nature, specific, attainable, sustainable, and measurable. That is why we have that organogram. At the top, we have the national chairman, which is the First Lady, supported by the Deputy National Vice Chairman. We have the Governing Council, made up of, notable Nigerians who have been assisting us. And we have the directors who also doubles and work with the Governing Council. We now have the zonal coordinators. We have the state coordinator. We have the local government coordinators. We have the social mobilizer, and we have the organization like National Council of Women's Society. And the idea behind that is to make it inclusive, participatory governance. We are not involved in choosing the beneficiaries. That is why we have broken it down in that way. The state coordinators, who are also the First Lady of that state, nominate this beneficiary, having gone through certain, criteria. You understand? So we don't nominate, they nominate them based on the criteria they have set. You understand? Then we also analyze and give them the benefits.
How do you analyze?
Now,
yes, because
based on what you have given to us from your state, we won't go to your state and nominate for you. We don't know what is going on in your state. You are the one in charge of your state. So we want you to give us, the names of these nominees. We will call them and interview them sometime to see, we also do our need assessment to ensure that these people really deserve, what they are, asking for. So we can't go into your state and nominate for you. We want to give you that participatory role, democratic governance to be part of what we are doing. That is why we have designed such a program to ensure that everybody is carried along. Look at all our interventions. You understand? If we are collaborating or partnering with an MDA, government agency, and ministry, we don't get the money. You understand? We only act as facilitators. You understand? Between the ministry or the agency and the beneficiary. Our own is to collate based on the information we have gotten from the state, to the ministry, so that the money go directly to the beneficiary.
Can I draw you a little further on this? On the needs assessment that you do, obviously, there's a structure. Yes. I mean, a very solid structure. There's no doubt about that. I've also seen the organogram, very solid structure. You do not nominate beneficiaries either for the scholarship or for the AODA NEPAD, initiative, or for the other initiatives in the education sector. But when you do conduct your needs assessment, what do you find? What is the background of those you select? Or what are the backgrounds of those you select? And are you satisfied that those you have selected are actually, in need of such?
Yes, very, very important. We don't do that alone. That is why we say we collaborated with the state. I'm not going to go into your state and determine the vulnerable group. You are the one in that state that I can identify and push to us. Our honor is to interview them and see if actually they need that, assistance they are seeking for. These are some of the ways we have done it. Our own is just to make a difference. You understand? We don't want to micromanage what is going on in your state. Ours is to make a difference. It's not about the quantum now. It's not about the size now. Just making a difference. Changing a life at a time is the focus of the First Lady, and that has been what she has been. She has been doing philanthropic and elementary, things before now. So she knows how to run an organization, NGO, and that is the strategy we have adopted.
Any particular students, any outstanding beneficiary that you want to share with us?
Well, we have about 43 of them now. 47. You understand? for the national scholarship that we are
43
running.
or 47?
47 of them, you understand? And you have to be in good standing. That is part of the measurement we are doing now. For them to qualify for the second tranche of that scholarship grant now, they need to send their results. You understand? We want to see your CGPA, cumulative grade point average. Not only that, you have to be in good academic standing that we must verify.
From the school.
From the school.
These
These are some of the things we have done.
Some of the things that you know.
Yes, I did that personally to ensure that.
Yes, these are some of the things you need to tell us so that people know that.
Before I come to you, I just want to ask a question, because earlier on you talked about your focus on girl-child education, and what about the boy-child education? Because most times we leave out the boys, and you've forgotten that these girls, they will run to these boys later. And if these boys are not properly taken care of, they become all these area boys, all these, because it's important. We should not neglect the boy-child education, because that is very, very important. And we've been hearing girl-child education.
If I may, I agree with you.
Because by the time you train the girl child, it will look for the boy.
Oh my God.
Now, how do you now get the boy that is not trained? It will mistreat the girl that is trained. Anyway, that is just it. I'm just calling you. I don't know if you should.
You want him to answer that question?
Yes, I do. I have to.
Yes.
It is not limited.
Because the emphasis is always the girl child.
You understand? Yes, we talk about girl child, you understand? And our focus mainly is for the family. And when you talk to family, it involves everybody. You understand? We are not focusing on the girl child alone. We also do, support for young Nigerians, young men too. The last bursary award that was given to us from the Ministry of Education involves, young men too. You understand? These are some of the areas we also, want to carry along the boys. You understand? We realize that in places like the Southeast, what you just mentioned is playing out. We are young men are out of school. So how do we begin to identify that?
Not only in the Southeast, if you go to the North, all these Almajiris.
Almajiri is a special case, which is part of what we are also looking. We talked about out of school and not in school children. It's part of the pillar we are working on.
Okay.
And I told you it's a one step at a time. That is the strategy we have adopted. We want program that can be measurable and sustainable.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Miriam, let me just come to you.
And just to add again, like he said, the ratio of boy to girl dropout in school varies. And you discover that according to the data, available data, the ratio of girls are, in a higher percentage of the dropout population. So that's why when, emphasis is
on the girl child.
Yes, on the girl child.
Yeah,
and they are more vulnerable anyway.
I know, but I'm just saying that we should not neglect the boy child as well. That's just my own. Because it's important. It's vital. Anyway, let me come to Miriam. I mean, some of the programs of the initiative, Women Agricultural Support Program, which supports women farmers with training, resources, and financial assistance. How far have you gone in this?
Okay, the RHI WAPS, it's called the RHI WAPS,
yes.
Women Agricultural Support Program. The program was
because I want to find out how have you been able to empower women farmers and entrepreneurs across the country.
I'll get to that. And the program was officially launched to support women. And when we say women, I heard the question you were trained at Honorable. When we say women, we hear the outcry of people saying gender equality. Women have been far too long marginalized, and that's why there's a yearning for special attention for women. They're vulnerable. Most children are impregnated by boys. They didn't impregnate themselves. We have women who abandon their wives. So there's several factors why we need to focus on women a lot. And when we get the home right, the children are better catered for. So I needed to set that as a basis for this conversation. So when we say we are supporting women agriculturally, supporting them economically, and when we do this, we look at both training, empowerment, and in every of our programs, we try to do funding because we need money to do a lot of things. So in this project, it was launched in February 2024, precisely in Imo State. The First Lady was in Imo State to launch that of the Southeast Zone. Okay. It was launched across the country nationwide. And what do we do with this program? We support pre-identified women. These are farmers, and like you said, what are our needs analysis? We get to the community, find out women who are actually practicing. And that's why some of our programs, you find out that the number is it looks small, but we want it to be very impactful. Okay. We don't want to just give money to anybody to spend. So in this program, we identified 20 women farmers in each of the states. That's 20 women across the federation in each state.
In each state,
and
not local government.
Not local government, in the state, spread across. So each state, for example, Abuja has area councils. The women were spread across area councils so that we have farmers who are able to churn out produce that would have overall impact in the country. So we had 20 women farmers selected and supported with 500,000 naira each. A check of 10 million naira was handed over to their first ladies. The women were present to receive them, and they were also supported with trainings in collaboration with NAUDA. The funds were provided for by the Renewed Hope Initiative, and NAUDA supported them with training, seedlings, and pesticides. Then what are these funds for? It's not for them to spend. It's for them to support their businesses, their agricultural businesses. For example, those in animal husbandry are able to buy more livestock, poultry farming, fish farming, to plunge into their business to have better outcomes and better output for Nigerians. Okay. And this has been largely successful, and a lot of women have come back with testimonies. We've gone back to monitor and see what they've been able to do with it. And we are very encouraged, we're very inspired, and we're encouraged. The First Lady is encouraged to do more and more for the women. That's what we've been able to do with this agricultural support program. Yes. Another area of support that we did in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is to provide fertilizers, truckload of fertilizers to farmers, particularly young female farmers and male farmers, of course, in the states of the Federation. So each state received truckload of fertilizers to boost their agricultural produce. And we see in the last couple of months, we've had some natural disasters here and there, conflicts, and just to support the process and ensure that Nigeria remains food sufficient and there's food security in line with the federal government's agenda.
I think all these are just short-term support systems.
Yes, this is.
Do you have a long-term support system to sustain, these initiatives?
Yes, the program is just 1 year, and the pillars are there to continue to drive us towards our interventionist approach. That's the methodology. We are interventionists, we are collaborators, we're working. We can't do it alone, as the government cannot do it alone. So we're inviting more people to come on board. People are seeing what we are doing. Recently, the First Lady's visit to Onga was held on NTA, and a lot of people are willing to partner with us. When they see what we do, they are encouraged to join us and support us further. Thank you very much.
I am eager to talk about Every Home a Garden.
Yes, please.
And it's a joker. It's a star initiative.
Yes, thank you very much.
And I would like you to clarify, because my observation from interaction is that this is for first-time women farmers. How have you been finding that? Because I've also discovered that it will be much difficult, because a lot of women have actually keyed into this initiative, and many of them are not first-time farmers. Some of them, interested in farming, and when they heard of the initiative, they also started. So how do you hope to reconcile that?
I think the goal of this competition should be remembered. The goal is to ensure food sufficiency. Nigeria is more than rice. There's more to our food than rice. So it's to encourage home gardening, women to think of creative ways, what to cook in their kitchen, to ensure that there's nutritious meal, to ensure that there's a healthier nation. So that's the goal. So to have more women on board is a success. Okay. And I think that's the goal. That's the goal of our excellency. That's what
it's not limited to first-time farmers.
It's open. It's to encourage. So first-time farmers are excited. Oh, how can I do this? When you see somebody growing something in a bucket, oh, this is interesting. I've seen people growing yam in sacks, and it grows. It's feeding. It's healthy, and it requires very little compost to put together. And that's what we've been able to achieve with this competition. The First Lady, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi also showed the example, and that encouraged more women. They thought, oh, it's just a fluke, it's just something, it's something that is doable. Within a short time, she grew spinach, she grew okra, and she grew basic things within the confines of the State House without necessarily smearing the place. And we've seen other videos of women online showing, living in one-room apartment, growing something in a bucket, growing something in sacks. They're smart gardening. It depends on how buoyant you are. You could take up the smart gardening where you need technology. Yeah. You could take up the one that doesn't require so much.
Another thing is emphasis on garden, and
Yes.
you know that to have a garden, there are certain things that you cannot plant. But a lot, you know, some of these women are going beyond
Yes,
gardening.
they've
So are you
challenged
also going to?
themselves.
Yes, you know, you have trees, you have yam, you have tubers,
Yes.
you have all those. You know, are you also going to factor that in when you're assessing? Because so many people are eager and are, you know, yes.
We have panel of adjudicators that would look at that, but it's just one person that's going to win this 20 million naira.
There's so many.
There are so many winners. There's so many winners in this. Women who are now able to put better food for their families are winners in this competition. The goal was to inspire, and that's what Her Excellency has been able to do. She has inspired more women to look at our meal beyond just rice, beyond just the staple foods and the other foods that there seem to be a rising cost around, to see better sustainable alternatives. And I remember growing up, we used to see our parents farm a lot. Farming is indigenous to Nigeria. It's something that we used to do, but we have all left back. Everybody wants the white collar job. Everybody wants to just be, and forgetting that without food, there's really little to what we can do as a country. So
without food, there's
do you think just getting one person? Do you think just getting one person as a winner? Do you think it's is it plausible? I mean, is it fair in the midst of numerous people that are entering into this competition, and you are only declaring one person as a winner?
Maybe we can have first, second, and
the
third.
strategy of the First Lady to go for the best.
Yes.
And like you rightly mentioned, this is an opportunity for the state government too to do something in their state. You understand? Okay. Although I'm sending somebody to Abuja for assessment, but in my state too, I can do some kind of...
Okay, so you didn't make it at the national level?
Yes.
I think
you have
only
the states.
Recently,
Okay.
I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, Her Excellency was in her garden, and one of the things she said was that the states, the first ladies in the states, she has asked them to also encourage those participants at their state level, those that didn't make it to the finals, you know. And just like Mrs. Obadino has said, it is not that competition that is the target. It is the change in the mindset that all of us can indeed grow something. All of us can feed. And if you have heard the First Lady, she's saying that all she wants is, know that you can grow something to eat and feed your neighbor. Get them something. So it's not much of what I'm planting. The fact that I now love to plant, I now want to plant, and I want to engage in agriculture. That is what she intends to achieve. Let's change the mindset. Let's go back to the farm. Let us go back to the basics.
Let's go back to the farm. Okay, fine. I think it's a good initiative. Now, I mean, it's commendable, because we've left, everybody wants to do the white collar job, and that is why we are having food shortages right now. And besides the other security challenges that we have, that's sending farmers away, we can do it in our backyard. Okay, I also, the initiative aims to, one of the program is that it has an economic empowerment program, which provides financial inclusion, entrepreneurship support, and microfinance services, while the social support program support IDPs, people with disabilities, and vulnerable families. Can you throw more light?
Okay, I'm going to just talk about the social
the social
investment,
aspect.
the social aspect. I would let Honorable talk about the economic one.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that she believes in, and which is one of her driving forces, is that you must be able to be your brother's keeper. And that she would always tell us that is what love is. And she's showing that by reaching out to the less privileged. Now, I talked about the Nana Berry Orphanage. Now, there is an investment program, social investment program for people with disabilities. It is called the Business Recapitalization Program for people with disabilities. Now, in each state, about 100 people with disabilities are identified by the state, and RHI gives them 100,000 naira each to recapitalize their businesses. That goes a long way. 100 people with disabilities. One, it tells them they are not left behind. It tells them that they're still in the reckoning of government. And what it tells them the most, they are loved. So that's one of the things that the social investment angle of the Renewed Hope Initiative is doing. Now, there's this program that she will be doing annually. The first was last year, December, where she reached out to the elderly, the elderly support program. Now, everybody will grow old. The Renewed Hope Initiative does not lose focus of the side that these elderly people have served in one capacity or the other. So it is time for them to reap what they have labored for. So they reach out. It was 250,000 last year, and she's been asking, what are we doing this year for them? Now, that particular elderly support program that was done in each state of the Federation, not only did those elderly get the 250,000, there was a health check program attached to it. They also got food items, various food items to support them. The widows, the vulnerable, wives of fallen heroes, they were also not left out. The Renewed Hope Initiative is reaching out to them because these are people that laid their lives down for the country. So their families are not being left out. She's putting them into reckoning. So these are some of those empowerments in the social investment sector of the Renewed Hope Initiative.
Well, to talk about the economic empowerment scheme, which has four focal areas, training, provision of grants, skill acquisition, and economic outreach program. In the area of grant, we just recently, First Lady provided 50 million to each state of the Federation, including Federal Capital Territory, for the state First Lady to give to, 1,000 women in their state, you understand, to support their businesses. Petty trader in each state, 1,000 of them, you understand. So that is part of what he is doing to ensure that everybody is carried along. That is number one. In terms of training, we have collaborated with NIDA, National Information Technology Development Agency, to train women. We started with Abuja. 35 women were trained and given brand new laptops and startup grants to do businesses. We all understand the digital role that we are using to change the world now. So we must also allow women to be digitally ready. That is why NIDA collaborated with us to ensure that we train them in ICT training. That is number one. Number two, we have provided in collaboration with NIDA, ICT Community Center. We have one in Bauchi, and we are replicating that across the six geopolitical zone. It's a brand new center, fully equipped with ICT materials and equipment to ensure women goes there, young men goes there to acquire digital skill. We all know that the labor market is very, volatile these days, and what you need to survive is extra skill. That is the essence of these ICT centers. Aside from the ICT center, there is also Digital Economic Center that is going to be given to the 36 states of the Federation. We did six at the beginning of the year. You understand? We have identified another 10 states that will benefit from this ICT digital ICT how do I call it?
Community.
Economic centers.
Community centers.
Digital economic centers. That is one. Aside from that, we also identified 3 states to benefit from the ICT community centers. Oyo is part of the Benue is part of it, and Kwara is part of those who benefit from this ICT community. It's a brand new, completely constructed new, infrastructure for ICT for women and young men to go there and learn and acquire some skill in digital enterprises.
Okay, go ahead.
Also, we also collaborated with NIDA Technologies to train women women in technology, also to assist them. And we have rightly mentioned, our training is also to empower. We don't just train, we also empower them. So we have taken it across the geopolitical zone. North Central is currently going on as we speak. And at the end of this program, we will bring everybody together to Abuja, for more empowerment. Also, we are also collaborating with NIDA to train over 300 women across the geopolitical zone in ICT training also. These are some of the things we have done.
It's good to hear all of this, but it will be much heartwarming if we can, make it relatable, if the viewer, can understand and follow. And that's why I'm going to ask, and I'll also ask Mrs. Obadina, because I know that RHI is also collaborating, you told us, with NALDA to empower women in agriculture with whatever it is that they require. And I'm saying, do we have figures that are relatable to show the impact that RHI is actually making on these women vis-a-vis the objectives and goals of the broader government policies in terms of poverty reduction? How much, of these poverty statistics have we been able to draw down as a result of these, initiatives?
I once said that the First Lady has this ideology. It's about making a difference. It is not about the quantum or the size to us now. Once you have been able to make a difference in somebody's life, you have been able to achieve your goal.
I've been able to achieve your goal. Yes. We'll take a break now. When we come back, you'll continue from where you stop. Okay. We'll take a break now. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.
The dreams that our founding fathers envisaged are still work in progress. Every day, we put our hands on the plow, determined to do a better job of it. While it is tempting to focus on what has been left undone and where we have stumbled as a nation, we must never lose sight of how far we have come in forging and holding our country together.
Registration for the UN FCCC COP29 is now open. To register, visit nigccdelegation.natccc.gov.ng. To get started, find the Create Account button at the top right corner of your screen. Click it to proceed. Please note that all delegate accounts must be created by an authorized contact person or nominee representing your organization or MDA. Before starting, ensure you have the following documents ready for upload. 1. A scanned copy of the authorized contact's ID 2. A letter approving participation from your organization, including nominee names, and any other supporting documents. To create a delegate account, click Create Account in the top right corner again. Select the delegate option and take a moment to read the important notice on the next page. Click Proceed at the bottom of the notice page to continue with your registration. Complete all required fields in the Create Account for your organization form. Upload the necessary documents as prompted. Once all information is filled out, click Sign Up at the bottom of the page. An email verification will be sent to your registered email address. It is essential to check your inbox and activate your account to complete the registration. After activating your account, return to the portal and log in to proceed. Click your profile in the top right corner to add delegates. Find the Add Delegates Nominees button on the right side. Click to proceed. You will need to upload each delegate's passport biodata page. Note that each organization is limited to a maximum of 3 delegates. After adding all delegates, your registration on the portal is now complete. You will receive a notification email. Check your email and portal profile regularly to monitor the status of your accreditation request. An email will notify you once approval is confirmed. If you are registering as a negotiator, click the Register a Negotiator button on the home screen. Read the important notice carefully before filling out the account creation form. Submit the form and verify your email address. You can log in to check the status of your accreditation request. You will receive an email upon approval. International organizations interested in scheduling a meeting at the Nigeria Delegation Office can use the International Organization Meeting Request button on the homepage to request a meeting. For more information on the UNFCCC COP29 conference, including trip planning and logistics, explore the How It Works and FAQ sections on the portal. For further assistance, click the Contact Us button at the top right corner of the homepage. Fill out your details and our support team will assist you.
All right, welcome back. Just before we went on break, Honorable Lawiye was speaking to us on,
taking a step at a time.
Taking a step at a time.
Yeah, that's our focus. You understand? I told you it's not about the quantum, about the size. Taking a step at a time, making a difference in somebody's life is what we are focusing on. That is our objective. You understand? It's a family, it's a unit. And as such, we are focusing on one family. If you focus on this family and you are successfully being able to transform that family, don't forget, community is a summation of all families. And once you have been able to identify and transform, families in the community, you are actually transforming that society as a whole. That is our focus.
Mm. Yes, you wanted to speak to us on, your collaboration with Ministry of Agriculture, but specifically on the Young Farmers Club initiative. How much have you achieved? What are we celebrating in that area today?
Okay, we've achieved so much. Particularly, let me start with the Young Farmers Club, which was launched just last month, 17th of September, precisely. And it is a program geared towards supporting the food security drive of the country. And how do we do this if we do not carry our young people along, our young population, who are the future of Nigeria? So this competition was launched by the First Lady to catch them young, to imbibe the culture of farming from an early age. If we get it right with our children, we've gotten it right with our future. And with children, you do things in an exciting way for them, in an appealing way for them. We saw the picture and Our Excellency cladded in the beautiful uniform. We saw the children looking all sharp and excited to get to the farm. These are what we've been able to achieve with the Young Farmers Club. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security approached us when they see what we were doing with a lot of initiatives in agriculture. And they said, how could we partner with you to take this Young Farmers Club beyond just the FCT to ensure a national spread and the rollout of the program, and also ensuring institutional framework such that such a brilliant program doesn't just fizzle out with this administration. There's sustainability for it and there's improvement. And what the children were picked from, the First Lady launched this with 12 schools in the FCT. 12 schools spread across the area councils, and the military, the DPOA, and all of them had their schools also present on that day. And there were children in upper primary, that's primary 4 to 6. So that's really catching them young. The ones that can at least handle some little tools were part of the club members. And we had students from junior secondary schools. We started with public schools, because those are the largely disadvantaged ones, to show them what is possible, what they can do, and how they can also key into national agenda, how they can also be patriotic citizens. The program was launched where the children were provided with implements, uniform, all sponsored by the We Need Hope initiative, by the First Lady. And they were also given handbooks to guide. So it's going to be like a social club. It is a social club, not it's going to be because it's already here. It's a social club, just like we have the Brownies, where their club activities, where their activities are guided by constitution. They have the Farmers Pledge, which they recited during, at the hall during the launch of the event. And the program has received wide acceptance across the nation. We have Lagos State has inaugurated their Farmers Club, I think about maybe a couple of weeks ago, and we are looking to see more states. It's already launched in the FCC. The children are excited. The Federal Ministry of Education, Agriculture and Food Security will be supporting them with funding and training activities that we'll see in the course of the year. We'll see a lot of activities coming up with these children, but the most important thing is that they're excited to be part of it. They're excited. You know, our children, when they see, for younger children, they see growing, when crops grow, they see it as magic.
Yeah.
So they are really excited. And to have this as a social club, I think it's a very brilliant idea from the First Lady. And that's where our lenses as a teacher comes in, because she loves to do things right. And we are very proud of this Young Farmers Club.
No, actually, I was going to ask again, sorry, because I remember when we were in school, I went to Mayflower School in Ikene, and we had societies, a lot of agricultural activities there. I don't know whether, you know, this initiative is collaborating with schools, because I remember that you talked about institutions, because there is need for the initiative to collaborate with the Federal Ministry of Education to promote agriculture, even as a subject in school, because this will further, you know, help to develop the, what is it called now? The students, the young pupils, they are encouraged to do. They are encouraged to go into agriculture. But Busa, let me ask you, what exactly is driving the First Lady in this initiative? What exactly is pushing her? What is the what exactly?
This is a woman that loves God,
Hmm.
and she wants to do everything that God asks that should be done. So for her, her driving force, her air that she breathes, everything is about God. She wakes up, she's telling you about God. She wants to read her Bible, she wants to pray, she wants to talk to you, she wants to see you live right. And by living right, she wants to see you do right. It's something that she says, it's like a sing song. We have to live right. So all these things that she's doing, as far as she's concerned, and from what we too have seen, it is obeying the dictates of God. She wants the Bible says the poor will always be among you. So what is her own point? She wants to make the life of those people more bearable, more tolerable, and more comfortable. As well, she's a teacher. This woman is a lifelong teacher, as far as I'm concerned. So she wants to impact. She wants to impact knowledge, she wants to impact understanding, and she wants to impact goodness. And that's what teaching is all about. She wants to pour out herself. We were in Ife recently, and when it was time to take pictures, or rather when somebody was going, some students, the student union, they were going to give her a gift, and the boy came up and said, "Good afternoon, everyone," and she said, "No, in the Department of Education, that's not what we teach you. You recognize the people that are here. Kabisi, Your Excellency,
of course,
my colleagues, fellow students, good afternoon." And the boy, you know, the whole went, he's a teacher. So she wants to pour out something good. She wants to impact you positively. And that's what her driving force is. And lastly, she is the wife of Mr. President. She is the First Lady. That office is complimentary. She will tell you that she is there to support her husband. So everything that she's doing is to support the president and all that the president is doing.
Absolutely. Of course, they say behind every successful man, there's always a woman. But I have said that needs to change now.
We should tweak it a little bit.
Yes, that needs
but I was
to
going to say something about Demola when he talked about the boy child.
Yes.
You know, once you impact a woman, you have impacted her children. The boy child inclusive.
You see,
so by reaching out to the women, the First Lady is reaching out to the boy child, because the mother that feeds her son very well, the boy is healthy, he won't go and steal from another man's farm. And she's,
you know,
this is debatable.
Sorry,
Don't let's go into it. So
I will give you statistics when I finish my question.
Don't give me statistics.
No, I will. I will give you UNICEF statistics.
We can debate it, and it will distract.
All right. You referenced Ife, and that triggered my next question. Yes, we watched, the event in Ile-Ife, and of course, when the First Lady made her donation, there was conversation where I was, and people, where did she get the money from? After all, the office of the First Lady, it's not constitutional and all that. Yes, it's complementary. Of course, it has to support the husband and all that. So I'm just wondering, how are you sourcing your funds?
Thank you very much. He has this philosophy that if you spend the little you have, God will certainly bring more for you, and that has been working for her. You understand? We reach out to, well-meaning Nigerians. Some come on their own volition to come and support us, having seen what we are doing, seeing the program we are doing. They came on their own to support us, willing, ready to support the program we are doing. That has been the major source of our resources.
Okay, contributions.
Nothing is coming from the government. We don't have a budget line. You understand? It is through, circle of friends that have been supportive and collaborative efforts and things like that. Those have been the sources of our funding.
And of course, the Renewed Hope Initiative has a board of trustees.
Board of trustees,
and
made up of well-meaning Nigerians.
Men of means, and men of high integrity, because that's one of her driving forces.
Men and women.
Are there policy recommendations to further drive the goals of the initiative?
Policy recommendations from her to government. One of the policy recommendations that you might be looking at is partnering with federal ministries, departments and agencies for sustainability, continuity, and indeed having the programs being formidable. So those are the things that I will say will be tilting in line of policy recommendations.
I was wondering also that recently the First Lady, of course, also launched the birth registration, initiative to encourage, families to register, the babies at birth. How's that going?
It's going very well. It's a program that the Renewed Hope Initiative partnered with UNICEF, National Population Commission, and NIMSI. It's to further drive. Now, Nigeria has had it. If you remember, Mr. President did launch the e-registration some time ago. That was last year. This is to further drive government. Like I said, RHI is complementary to all that government is doing. So it's to further drive it, and it has cascaded. Like you were told by Honorable Alawi King, this structure does not sit pretty in Abuja. It goes to the states and by extension the local governments. So everything she does, she brings in the zonal coordinators and state coordinators of RHI, who are the wives of the state governors. Now, okay, take this to your states and let us have it replicated. Let us drive it. I'm sure very shortly you will see those billboards around the Federal Capital Territory and in some other states calling for people to please ensure that they register their children at birth so that they have a national identity. One of the good things that NIMSI has done is also to ensure that they have a NIN at birth.
Okay.
So
Sorry, is there any particular reason driving the choice of these 5 key areas? That's health, agriculture, social investment, and empowerment. Is there any particular reason? Because couldn't have the First Lady probably decided or chosen, say, okay, let me do agriculture, let me do health, let me do education, let me do empowerment, and then stay on to it. But here we are, doing fine. Health itself is very broad. education is very broad.
The truth be told, those are the 5 things that make man man.
Not only that, they are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals.
All right.
And the policy of the administration
government.
of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay, let's look at some of the significant challenges, being faced by this initiative and how they are being addressed. Can you tell us some of these challenges and how they are being addressed?
First, like they mentioned Sustainable Development Goal. For example, we are here, there's a lot of challenge in Nigeria, people talking about food insecurity. The First Lady started this by launching the Every Home a Garden, which is to ensure food on every table. She's done the Young Farmers Club with the motto, growing the food I eat starts with me. And to quickly respond to your question on how do we get schools involved, the structure of the Young Farmers Club is to have the teachers in their school be the club supervisors. The schools that we selected in the FCT was done in collaboration with the UBEB, State Universal Basic Education Board, and that's the model across the states. The SUBEBs are involved, the Ministry of Education is involved in helping identify the schools. Ministry of Agriculture is there to take up their registration. Even the First Lady's office, First Ladies of States and RHI coordinators are also informed of all this registration to ensure that these programs are sustainable, they are well implemented. Implementation is very, very key for us, and that's why we are not just doing this alone. We are coming up with collaborators, interventionists, and we also try to, like she mentioned, Ms. Sukwayi mentioned that we ensure that these people are people that are known. We see a lot of programs where there are ghost people, where names are just fed. With our program, we can say credibly, people are well identified, they are scrutinized. For example, the Belarusian students, the scholarship that we had, the Auda Nepad scholarship that we also had as well, were students that were selected from the states, they were screened, they had verifiable results, there were people who were interested in learning an alternative language. So these were some of the screening that we did. Auda Nepad supported us with screening 2,000 applications across the country. So it's not just some shallow arrangement, it's well thought out, well planned, and well executed. Thank you very much.
Okay, I wanted to ask, I really don't know how to start it now, but if we look at this initiative and all that it has achieved, the RHI is duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission.
Yes, very registered.
And is there any implication why that is so?
It's to give it a corporate identity. It's not just, it's an organization that is credible. We're working with international partners. They want to ensure that you're accountable. We do our annual reports. There's an annual report of all our spendings. Everything that we do is well recorded, well documented. So you want to work with someone with a corporate identity that is duly registered under the laws of Nigeria.
Is there any plan to take it to other countries as well? Encourage other first ladies, because we've had other first ladies visit Nigeria and they've had meetings. Do you have plans?
Well, every other first lady has their own program.
Okay. Now let me ask you, because we are about rounding up. It's 1 year. We are celebrating. We are marking it. What do we expect in the next?
So much.
Year? Let's have a peep into it.
Expect more. That is that is what I'm going to do. Expect more from the Renewable Initiative. We have so many programs in place based on our scope. If you look at the thematic areas, we have not finished all the focal area. We need to complete all the focal area.
I will ask you, and then before I know you want to take. There's so much that the girl child is going through at the moment. Violence, harassment, rape, trafficking, drug, and all of those. Efforts to get the gender acts, yes, passed at the National Assembly has not been successful. Unfortunately, it didn't pass when the First Lady was at the National Assembly. Is Madame doing anything about that?
On the social investment, yes, we are. Well, she is doing a lot about that, and she's unequivocal. She's even taking the fight to the states. That First Lady is at the state level. Let's get involved in all of this and get it out. It's not just at the federal level that it should, because the perpetrators are not at the federal, they are at the grassroots. So let us go there And that's what she's doing. Now, on the legislative aspect, she's out of the Senate now. Of course, she still has her colleagues there, and of course, she will make advocacy towards that. And that's all that she can do, because she's not there now to push it as a legislature. But advocacy will come.
Yes, I quite agree that she's not at the, but she can, I mean, her office is powerful. And
that was why
yes.
she called on the leadership of the National Assembly during the program we had on sexual abuse and all that. You know, called on the leadership of these stiffer laws and
that's the advocacy that we're talking about.
That we talked about, you understand? So she continued to
advocate for it.
We also encourage state to also do something about it, and I believe they are doing something.
Yes. So how are we celebrating this 1 year?
Okay, we have some other programs coming up. Like you said, what do we have coming up?
Yeah.
We have training for frontline healthcare workers across the nation. There will be midwives will be trained, provided with tools. So these are some of the things you should look up to. Currently we have over 60,000 scrubs in the pipeline, uniforms for them, and so many other things that is coming up in collaboration with the Primary Healthcare Development Agency. And we're also going to be seeing collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture for training and empowerment program for young women farmers, and of course male farmers, but we would give some more percentage to women. We've been marginalized for too long.
Please, you have to say something about every home and garden, because every woman is watching this program. Final word.
Yeah, final word to women watching now. I want to encourage you to participate in the First Lady's initiative, Every Home and Garden, which is essentially to provide nutritious meal, food on every table. Everybody deserves to eat and be well fed, and I urge everyone to key into this program. Another thing I wanted to mention is the Within Hope Initiative is a philanthropic organization. No individual should be persuaded to pay any amount to any individual to take advantage of all of these initiatives. Therefore,
it is free.
It is free. There's no fee. There's no registration required. All communications will be sent through official channels and will be scrolled in newspapers and online as well. So please be wary of criminal elements who may want to take advantage of all of the wonderful initiatives of the First Lady to exploit Nigeria.
Thank you.
What's the star prize for every
The star prize for every Home and Garden is 20 million naira. But the star prize for every individual is to participate and get their families on board.
All right, thank you so much for that. 20 million naira for the number one, the best.
Maybe Demola will start
the best
every man a garden.
Every time, yes.
Yes, maybe next year we should consider men too. Thank you so much, Miriam Obadina, Senior Special Assistant Legal to the President Office of the First Lady. Thank you so much for coming. And also I want to thank Honorable Wahab Alawiye King, also Senior Special Assistant to the President on Policy and Strategy, Office of the First Lady.
Thank you for having me.
And also my very good friend, Busola Kukoye, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media, Office of the First Lady. Busola.
Thank you, Demola. Thank you, Claire.
Well, that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thanks for watching. Do have a fabulous day.
I am Claire Adelabu Abdul Razak, and he's Ademola Adeoye. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for introducing.